Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Joins, Mayor of Winston-Salem. It's my pleasure to call to order this meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council, September 16th meeting, and ask the city clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark. Councilmember Mundy.
Present.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
And Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Thank you very much. Would you please join the city council and me in a moment of silence? Thank you so much. And would you please join the city council meeting in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our Sergeant at Arms tonight is Lieutenant Bowen. We thank you for being with us, Lieutenant. I now recognize the city manager for his bi-monthly update.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items for tonight. One item on the Carolina Classic Fair, which, as we all know, runs from October 4th through the 13th. They're partnering with Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina to offer free advanced fair admission tickets until October 2nd. That is for those that are interested. If you're interested in obtaining a free admission ticket, you should take clothing contributions to any Forsyth County Goodwill location, and there's a limit of one free Carolina Classic Fair admission ticket per car while supplies last. So a good way to benefit the community and to enjoy the fair for the fall season. And for a couple of upcoming events I want to make sure council and the public are aware of, DOT is organizing 2 public input sessions to discuss updates to parking space payments through a mobile app and a proposed on-street parking fee increase. These sessions dates are September 18th at the Callidium located on West 3rd Street from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and on September 23rd at the Benton Convention Center on 5th Street from 5 to 7:30 p.m. So we've got one during the day and one in the evening to allow people to come and give residents and our businesses in the downtown area the opportunity to learn more about the proposed changes and provide input for council. On Friday, this Friday, September the 20th, the police department will hold its graduation ceremony for the BLET class number 79 at Two Cities Church on Patterson Avenue at 10 a.m. So the council's been received notification on that, but we're excited to welcome in a new group of police officers into the ranks. Project Homeless Connect will have an event on Wednesday, September 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Parks and Recreation Facility at 1551 North Liberty, site of the Liberty Street Urban Farmers Market. This event will provide a one-stop shop for people experiencing homelessness to access community services, supplies, and support. Neighborhood Services and our Bear team will be vendors at this event. And then one that I know Councilmember Scipio probably will want to cheer about, the Liberian Organization of the Piedmont, LOP, will hold its inaugural International Liberation Gala, Champions of Freedom, at 6 p.m. Saturday, September 28th at the Benton Convention Center, with special guest His Excellency Joseph Boakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, West Africa. The International Liberation Gala commemorates the release of enslaved Africans from Salem, North Carolina, their return to Liberia, and the present-day collaboration between our two countries. So it's always a big event to have the president visit our community, and so we're excited to have that happen. And then just in one note of recognition, the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds and the Piedmont Hockey Association have been awarded $2,500 as a part of the 24-25 Carolina Amateur Hockey Association grant cycle for the Try Hockey for Free grant request. This money will go towards ice time and hockey equipment to fund the upcoming We Play Hockey After School program at the Fairgrounds Arena Ice Rink for children between between the ages of 5 and 12. So that's an exciting new program that's going on at the ice rink to encourage, let people know about our hockey program. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, unless there are any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Pate? I think you covered it very well. We do have one honorarium tonight. I'd ask the city clerk to read that, please, ma'am.
Item H1, proclamation declaring September 27, 2024 as Winston-Salem State University Day. Whereas Winston-Salem State University was originally founded as Slater Industrial Academy on September 28, 1892 by Simon Green Adkins as an institution where every student would meet the challenges of the day equipped with an education designed to intellectually prepare the head, hand, and heart. And whereas Winston-Salem State University was the first historically black college and university in the nation to grant degrees for teaching and the elementary grades, and has a long-standing tradition for producing talented graduates in the fields of nursing and health sciences. And whereas Winston-Salem native Bonita J. Brown was officially elected by the University of North Carolina Board of Governors and appointed as the 14th Chancellor and first female leader of Winston-Salem State University, effective July 1st of this year. And whereas Winston-Salem State University has produced over 30,000 alumni who embody the spirit of the university motto, enter to learn, depart to serve, and who reside in the Triad across the state of North Carolina and around the globe. And whereas Winston-Salem State University is a regional comprehensive university with an annual economic impact of more than $500 million on the Piedmont Triad region and serves as a driver for economic and workforce development for the city of Winston-Salem and beyond. And whereas Winston-Salem State University has been recognized by multiple national media outlets as the #1 university in North Carolina for economic and social mobility for its students. And whereas the City of Winston-Salem recognizes and celebrates the significant achievements of Winston-Salem State University and its substantial positive influence on the local community in the past, presently, and in the future. Now, therefore, I, J. Allen Joines, Mayor of the City of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim Friday, September 27, 2024 as Winston-Salem State University Day.
Thank you. Chancellor, if you join me at the podium, please.
And you have a Winston-Salem State? No.
We've got two
Councilmember.
Two alums.
Councilmember Burke.
Chancellor Brown, we are delighted to not only welcome you here tonight, but welcome you to the city. You and I have been together several times already and had a chance to get to know each other, but we're so proud that Winston-Salem State's a part of the fabric here of Winston-Salem, makes our city even more special. So it's my pleasure to present this proclamation, and we invite you to make any comments you would like.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I would always like to start by recognizing any Winston-Salem State staff, students, or alumni who are in the room. If you're present, you can stand. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Joines and the city for this recognition. I'm proud to be the newest leader of a school that has produced graduates who have entered to learn and departed to serve for over 130 years. Winston-Salem State University is the city's public university and the only college and university to bear the city's name. Winston-Salem State is a pillar of the community, responsible for more than $500 million in economic impact annually to Winston-Salem State and the Triad region. No matter if you attended Winston-Salem State, work for the school, know someone affiliated with the school, or just live in Winston-Salem, we consider all of you a part of the Ramily. In support of Winston-Salem State Day on the 27th, I'm personally asking all of you all to wear red next Friday to show support. Wear red. I have a lot of red. Everybody wear red on Friday. We want to paint the town red. So thank you again for this proclamation, and I hope to see everyone in red on the 27th. Go Rams. Thank you.
Rams.
We're honored to have you with us tonight as well. I just realized that we do have a Girl Scout troop with us tonight. Would you ladies like to stand up and let's recognize you? troop are you in?
We are Girl Scout Troop 10, 11, 6. We range a grade from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. We meet on Mondays, and we're working on our democracy badge.
Wonderful.
Each girl has a worksheet. They are working on matching your names and your city council boards with your faces, and then also with the map of our city. And they've also brought cookies for everyone.
That's good. Come back more often.
Thank you.
Where do you meet? Where do you meet?
We meet at Ardmore United Methodist Church.
Wonderful.
Although we have Girl Scouts in our troop from multiple faiths.
All over. Wonderful. We're glad to have you here tonight. I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier. I'd asked you to lead us in the pledge, but welcome and enjoy your meeting today. So tonight we have a full agenda from the general agenda and the consent agenda. It's always the practice of the council to take the consent agenda as the first order of business. Items on this agenda have been unanimously recommended by a committee of the city council or being presented according to established city procedure. There'll be no discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, at which time we will remove the item from the agenda and we'll enact them with one motion. Council members, without objection, I'd like to add one item to the consent agenda, which is a recommendation for appointment to the Tourism Development Authority. Any objection?
No.
Do we need a motion? Can we just,
Do it with
okay,
consent.
just do it in one?
So without objection, we'll add that to us. I know that Councilmember Burke would like to pull item C2.
Yes.
Are there any other items who would like to pull?
I move for approval of the balance of the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Secretary, second by Councilmember McIntosh. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. And that is unanimous. Would you please pull item C2?
Item C2, Mayor joins recommendations for appointments to the African American Heritage Initiative Committee. Kwaman Finney, term expires August 2025. Kimberly McNeil, term expiring August 2027. Chances Withers, term expiring August 2027.
Thank you. Councilmember Burke?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to request that we vote on the names separately.
Sure, we can certainly do that. We'll first vote on Mr. Kwaman Finney. Is there a motion to approve him?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of Mr. Finney, please indicate by voting yes, and anyone opposed, vote no. And that's unanimous. We will now ask for a vote on Kimberly McNeil. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Scipio. Any discussion? All those in favor of McNeil, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is approved with a vote of 6 in favor, 1 opposed. And then Shanice Withers, is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Adams. Discussion. All those in favor of Withers, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll now go to the general agenda, which is comprised of 3 public hearings on zoning petitions, a public hearing on ordinance amendments for Chapters 310 and 75 of the UDO, as well as consideration of items on classification and compensation plan. When the public hearings are called, persons in council chambers will be given an opportunity to speak. If there is opposition to a public hearing item, particularly zoning item, the proponents and opponents will each be given 15 minutes for presentation and 3 minutes for rebuttal. If no one wishes to speak, the public hearing will be closed and the city council will consider the item. We're televising this meeting live tonight on TV 13, and it will be replayed tomorrow and on the city's YouTube page at 9 a.m. and again Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Of course, copies of our agenda as well as videos of previous meetings are always available online at the city's website, and just click on the Watch Meetings Online option. May we have item G1, please?
Item G1, public hearing and consideration of zoning petition of Joseph and Abby Bartholomew LLC, GO and GOS to GO. Property is located on the west side of Old Mill Circle and north of Healy Drive, located in the Southwest Ward. Planning Board unanimously recommends approval of petition.
Is there anyone in the council chamber who is opposed to this rezoning? I know the proponent is here. If there are any questions? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. I'll recognize Councilmember Mundy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and 2, W3625.
Second.
Second by Councilmember McIntosh. Any discussion on this item? If not, all those in favor, please vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Mundy. Item G2.
Item G2, public hearing and consideration of site plan amendment of Duncan Properties LLC, the YMCA Robin Hood Road Parking Addition, to change the previously approved site plan from a proposed bank to a parking lot. Properties located on the south side of Robin Hood Road at Polo Road, including all of Lineback Plaza Drive, located in the West Ward. Planning Board unanimously recommends approval of petition.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the council chamber who is opposed to this site plan amendment? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Since Councilmember Clark is out of town, Mr. McIntosh is just across the street from your ward. Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. And would you read that into the record?
Statement of consistency.
Read it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Move
Ms.
for approval of agenda item G3.
Need-
I don't think he has it. Who has the motion? I think we may have given it to MPT from this morning's discussion.
Oh, we're on G2.
There we go.
I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and 2, W-3626.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second by Councilmember Scipio. Any discussion of this? Not all those in favor, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you for filling in, Councilmember McIntosh. Item G3.
Item G3, public hearing and consideration of ordinance amending Chapter 75 of the Code of the City of Winston-Salem entitled Stormwater Management. Committee of the Whole recommends unanimous approval.
Yes, sir. You want to give us a little update on what we're doing here?
Just briefly, good evening, Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Adams, and members of City Council. I come before you just to give you a brief understanding of what we are.
We know who you are. Would you state your name for
I'm
the record,
Frederick
please?
Evans, Assistant City Attorney.
Thank you.
Here in the city. What we're proposing and what we have done through this amendment is to incorporate changes that took place last August through HB 488 relating to stormwater management funds. There's several things that changed with that, and we needed to make sure our ordinance matched up with the requirements of the state. The second was dealing with the MPDES permit. The state also sent some mandates. They looked at our ordinance, or looked at our permit and said that we needed to incorporate certain things in there, including a method of inspecting buildings in the city. So that was done. And the third is to allow the stormwater appeals from stormwater director to go straight to the Board of Adjustment, as opposed to the way we currently had it set up. That would also incorporate variances. And it would be, because the Board of Adjustment is quasi-judicial, those issues could be handled better under those, on those auspices of the UDO. Any questions?
Any questions? Good. Mayor Pro Tem.
Could you, in little words, explain it to a citizen as to how this might affect them or not affect them?
Is there any particular part? There are multiple parts to this. The biggest issue is dealing with developers. I think that will be the biggest issue. Previously we had escrow accounts The state says we no longer can use those escrow accounts. The accounts that are already set up can be used for specific purposes, but we really can't dictate those type of things. With regard to the inspection of buildings, that's just allowing the stormwater director, give him more authority. The state wants the stormwater director to be able to go into buildings to inspect for any kind of illicit discharge or anything of that nature. Just, it's better for our city to be able to have that authority to make sure we are in guidelines. And the last was just having the Board of Adjustment. There's certain appeals that take place within the city, and it requires a specific type of process. The best process to have that done is through the Board of Adjustment as opposed to the way we had it prior. So to make things to get things in line with what our state has mandated and to make things better and more in line and easier to progress.
Yep, thank you. Councilmember McIntosh.
So when a developer does subdivides a piece of property and is required to do a stormwater retention pond or whatever, retention system, we make them put up a bond or an escrow to cover what may go wrong with that system.
We did.
Prior to this legislation.
Correct.
The state now says we're not able to do that, or
Correct.
at all.
Correct. It can be set up, but we just do not have, we can't put it in an escrow account where we have some type of authority over those funds.
So that when it fails, and they will fail, because over time we've seen that happen, we don't have the ability to go after that money directly.
Correct.
So in effect, that having that money set aside in an escrow account does us no good.
Having that money set aside was for the benefit of HOAs and developments. The state has taken that away from us. Now, those escrow accounts that are currently in place, what we can do is say that they can be used for certain purposes. But we need to give these developers, the HOAs, the understanding that if those funds disappear, because we have no way to oversee them anymore, that could make it a very big problem if there is an issue with those stormwater ponds later. And a lot of these stormwater ponds are new, relatively. So.
It's my understanding also that if a business entity disappears, then that's also a reason for that money to just go away, and there's no way for us to have any recourse over that. So, I mean, it seems to me that it puts the municipality and also the HOAs and or the citizens that will be affected by the breakdown of a stormwater system much more at risk with no recourse against a developer who, whether or not they acted in bad faith, I'm not accusing them of acting in bad faith, but there's very little, if any, financial recourse against the developer.
That is correct. That is why we want to make sure at the beginning of this process that developers, HOAs are aware of that. And we're trying, and what's written in the ordinance is to have a disclosure saying that by moving forward, you understand the issues under HB 48 and you're willing to take that risk.
Thank you, State. Thank you. Any other questions? Councilmember Mundy.
I know this is aimed primarily at the industrial sector, developers. Does this give us the right to go on the property of an individual resident as well to inspect?
This specifically is dealing with the stormwater ponds and those issues.
So it's not illicit discharge?
The illicit discharge issue under the change is dealing with businesses and inspection of businesses. So that's different than private homes.
So no change in our current protocol and rules, regulations about going on someone's private property?
The only thing that has changed is this allows the stormwater director, his staff, to inspect certain businesses within the city limits.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the council chamber who wishes to be heard on this amendment to Chapter 75 of the City Code? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed and would ask for a motion.
Before I make a motion, I'd just like to ask City Attorney a question. Whether we vote this up or down, we really don't have much of a choice in this matter, correct?
You don't. In fact, we've had developers ask, when is this going to be done? Because they are aware of the fact that legislation changed.
All right, so in light of that, I move for approval of agenda item G3.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Mundy. Any discussion? All those in favor of this item, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you. Item G4.
Item G4, public hearing and consideration of ordinance to amend Chapters 3 and 10 of the Unified Development Ordinances to revise Board of Adjustment procedures. UDO CC 27. Committee of the Whole recommends unanimous approval.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. You going to give us a preview on this one, or?
I will. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. This is somewhat of a companion to the item that you just considered, but it does have 4 components to it. The first change is specifically related to what the Assistant City Attorney just spoke about, the changes to the ordinance that would put forth the Board of Adjustment as the appeals board for stormwater matters out of the city code. The second set of changes brings the ordinance in line with some other changes to state statute dealing with voting procedures and numbers that were changed in the statute over the last 6 or 8 months. We've currently been practicing it the way the statute says, but we're just getting our ordinance in line with those general statute changes. The third set of changes deals with the fact that even though planning and inspections were merged in 2013, we never went through the ordinance and actually changed the title from planning director and inspections director to planning and development services director. So that change is being made. And the fourth change is just trying to provide some additional clarification on the type of information required on some of our various site plans. You've got some site plans that go to the Board of Adjustment, some that go to planning board, some that come to y'all, just trying to make it clearer to the applicants what information is required on what type of plan. This did go to the planning board, unanimously recommended for approval. It came to the committee of the whole in the same, and I'm ready to answer any questions if you have.
Any questions for Mr. Murphy? Thank you. And this is a public hearing. It's anyone in the council chamber who wishes to be heard on this ordinance amending Chapter 3 and 10 of the Unified Development Ordinance. Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed and would ask for a motion. Mr. McIntosh.
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Scipio. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Oh, we got a little more to read. Mayor Pro Tem, you have?
MPT has
Get your trigger finger.
I know. I move for approval of 1, the statement of consistency for approval of this item, and 2, UDO CC 27.
Second.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no.
I know.
And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Item G5.
Item G5, consideration of items relating to Article 2, Section 30 of the Personnel Resolution of the City of Winston-Salem regarding compensation, and Article 1 of Chapter 50 of City Code.
Thank you, Dr. Barnett. Are you going to tee this one up for us?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, and Council. The item that you all have before you is relating to classification and compensation with regards to the City of Winston-Salem employees. From fall 2023 to spring of 2024, Management Advisory Group International, or MAG as we've come to call them, is the firm that we hired to conduct our comprehensive classification and compensation study. That study concluded following about 11 months, and in that process, they conducted position analysis questionnaires where they were able to review kind of what incumbents were saying about the jobs that they were doing. They were able to sit down and speak with employees from across the organization at every level of the organization. They also looked at 16 of our peer agencies, as well as private sector data that is made available to us through government reports. Through that, we have now gotten to a point where we have what you have before you. It includes 5 individual pay plans. Now, those pay plans are first the unified pay plan. So that includes the vast majority of classifications of city employees, a separate pay plan for the fire department, a separate one for the police department, and it also establishes what is called the Civilian Public Safety Pay Plan. Now, as you all are aware, we are coming into compliance and we will be establishing a Civil Service Board, thank you. And in establishing that Civil Service Board, it creates another class of city employees. And so pulling over those employees who are in our public safety departments that will be subject to the Civil Service Board, that is where the Civilian Public Safety Pay Plan arises. And then finally, the flat rate pay plan, which includes all of our temporary and seasonal workers. So the action that you have before you marks the start of the first of our 3-phase implementation of the classification and compensation study. That is immediate classification and compensation needs. What this does is it allows us to implement a new classification system which controls for lagging market pay, economic conditions, and any internal equity concerns. As Dr. Campbell came before you all and spoke, I believe it was in July, and revealed kind of what some of those findings were. So as was previously approved by this council, employees who met expectations for last fiscal year, they will be eligible for a 4% adjustment. Following that 4% adjustment, if anyone is below the new minimum of their pay grade, that will be brought up to whatever the new minimum for their pay grade is. The final adjustment employees will see is what we're considering an equity adjustment. Equity adjustments are designed and a compression adjustment, and that's designed to place difference on a longevity basis. So if we have an employee in a classification that's been in that classification for 10 years, they would be further away from the minimum than an employee that's been in that classification for just a year. So with that, I'll pause and answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Burnett. Am I correct? Of course, always one of the things we did we had high vacancies here in the city, and we found in this study that our overall pay was below being competitive in many cases.
Yes, sir.
And so this action tonight and earlier will put us into a better competition. I think maybe 70% of our positions. Is that correct?
We are striving to be at about 70%. So with our what I consider to be excellent benefits plan, that is what is going to establish us and have us maintain our positioning as an employer of choice in this area.
Very good. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Adams?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to ask the city attorney to weigh in so everyone will understand again some of the items we voted on tonight. We had no choice. The city municipalities report or under the coordination of our state General Assembly. So if City Attorney Carmen could just give a soundbite on the Civil Service Board. It's nothing that we created. Again, these are items that these mandates are coming from Raleigh. Attorney Carmen, please.
Carmen?
Okay, I'd be happy to. Yes, the North Carolina General Assembly enacted legislation basically requiring the cities of Greensboro and Winston-Salem to establish a civil service board, which is not like the Citizen Police Review Board. This board will pretty much hear appeals of grievances filed by city employees. And the legislation mandated basically that all of police and fire, it's just for that employee population be included. And because we do have in both police and fire positions that are similar to positions elsewhere in city government, we had to find a way to differentiate those, for example, a clerk, administrative assistant in police and fire from an administrative assistant or clerk in other city departments. So that's part of the reason for the civilian pay plan. But yes, you are correct. This was mandated, the Civil Service Board was mandated by General Assembly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Dr. Burnett? I'm sorry, Councilman Scipio and then Councilman Mundy.
I certainly believe this is overdue for us to look at how we've been paying employees. We usually have great pay historically for city employees. It was a little disturbing to learn how underpaid we had become. And this is a great adjustment. I think it's timely. I did have a question about the civilian public safety pay plan. And my question is, those jobs are support staff primarily, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it's just like Attorney Carmen may have mentioned, if you've got an administrative assistant in another department, but you've got an administrative assistant in either fire or police, are those comparably paid positions?
They are. So we did everything we could to put those as close as possible. I think the largest difference in a minimum between any of those is about $800.
Okay, because I just thought that would be a little discriminatory unless they're doing something really special. And the civilian pay is, explain that from sworn officers, I guess, in fire. Why, I don't know if people know there are more in the fire and public safety than the police and the firemen.
So the fire pay plan and the police pay plan are established the way that they are to provide for certified firefighters and sworn police officers, and that is how people move essentially on that pay plan. In establishing the civilian public safety pay plan, that was our way of addressing, like we said, there may be classifications that are required that certain things happen to them as is required by the Civil Service Board in a way that would not be required for those people that are on the unified pay plan. So we had to find a way to establish a difference between those, and that's where the civilian public safety pay plan comes from. It primarily is for those employees in our public safety departments that are in supporting positions. So it'll include a lot of our folks on the police side who are in forensics, the BEAR team in the fire department at this point, and then folks that are in other support services positions.
And where is emergency management?
Emergency management is a separate department. They are all on the unified pay plan.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Mundy?
This is a huge undertaking, and I thank you and your staff for bundling it all up together to present to us. I have an issue that is very trivial in the grand scheme of things, but as I was reading this, the use of the word personnel really struck me as being out of step. And unless there's some state reason that requires us to use that word, we should really change that to match industry. And there's a couple of other times I see that we look a little quaint and out of step. Like my dad used to call the refrigerator the icebox. And it was very quaint, but he was out of step. So I think we need to look at little things like this that unintentionally send the signal to the rest of the world that we're out of step with the rest of our peers.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Manager, you want to add anything to the discussion?
Just that in speaking on behalf of staff, we appreciate council having the foresight and the willingness to put this plan in place as a part of the last budget. This is a first step that we're taking towards making sure that, as Dr. Barnett said, that we are an employer of choice. We want to be a community of choice for our residents. We want to be an employer of choice for our staff. And this is a tremendous step towards making that a reality for this community. So, but it is the first step. So there will be other things that you will see that are on here that will be coming back. This is, as was said, this is a huge undertaking, so we may find things that need to be tweaked as we go along, and we will be making those to keep our positions in a comparable both internal and external position, and we appreciate your support in that effort.
Thank you, Mr. Pape. Mayor Pro Tem, I think you have the motion.
Yes. I move for approval of A, the ordinance amending Article 1, Section 50 of the City of Winston-Salem Code of Ordinances, and B, the personnel resolution amending Article 2, Section 30 of the City of Winston-Salem Personnel Resolution.
Second.
Motion and second by Councilmember McIntosh. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you, council members. Thank you, Dr. Barnett. Next item, please. Public comment period. This is a time once per month that the City Council invites citizens to speak to us on matters that are germane to city government. We'd ask that you'd state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. We set aside 30 minutes total for hearings on this. First person who signed up is Mr. Brown. Is that you, Mr. Brown? Good.
Good evening, and thank you very much. I have a comment and also a request. I've been a utilizer of TransAid services since late 2004. Everything was going fine until about March of this year, and several things happened. Number one, the city was going through a change of people who are going to manage the TransAid, the transportation system. Also, we were going through trying to get the city manager squared away. And some kind of way during that particular time, I got notification from a driver that the drivers had been told not to render the same kind of service they'd been rendering since 2004. I requested a hearing verbally and in writing. I got some communication and some letters, but I never got the hearing. And I just feel like I haven't gotten any kind of due process. So the first thing is to inform all of you that's my issue. My second thing is I'm requesting that at some point in time I be given a hearing so that I can find out who did this, why was it done, and how was it done. Because as of right now, I've not been invited to any kind of meetings that have dealt with this subject. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Certainly, we're concerned with your concerns, and going to ask, I'm going to ask our Assistant City Manager, King, to get with you before you leave and get your contact, and we'll follow up directly with you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Doreen Pollock.
Good evening. My name is Doreen Pollock. I live in the Boston neighborhood, off behind the post office on Patterson Avenue. My concern is for my community, the way my community was looking with the trash, the weeds growing all over the sidewalk. You can't walk on the sidewalk. When I have my granddog, I have to walk in the street because kudzus has grown all in the street. I've called and complained several times. I want to thank the city manager for finally, when I emailed him and Keith, I think it was Keith.
Keith Huff.
They did something about it. Now I can walk on the street. I don't have to walk in the street. Also, we've been trying to get a meeting to the community. I've been over there. I'm 68 years old, and I've been in that neighborhood all my life. I moved out one year, and the city had people that grew up there to move back in the community to revitalize that community. I was one of the ones that moved back in the community because I'm not ashamed to say I grew up in Kimberly Condo, even though they was called projects, because we had to keep them clean. But the way the condition of my neighborhood is looking, I don't like it. I do a lot of sweeping, cleaning up. Now we're having a problem with that church that's on Main Street. That's a historical black church, Beulah Holiness Church. I think that church is over 100-something years old. Whoever bought it has abandoned the church, and we got homeless people living there, which they do have to have a place to stay, but I don't think that's the right place for them to be. We've had fires, we had fights. I stopped a young man that had a hatchet or something and run up to another man Saturday. They were getting ready to fight in the church. I don't know what happened, but I begged him not to do what he have needed to do. And I also complained about the conditions of the neighborhood. And I want to talk about the flower bed because I don't have long. When I first moved over there, the city came to us about making the neighborhood look good. and they produced a flower bed program. I have the letter that they would provide the flowers, they would deliver the flowers. Now they want me to pick up the flowers. They said pick it up during COVID. I did it for 2 years, borrowed somebody else's car to pick it up. I work just like they do. I am tired. I do the flower bed, I have to say, by myself, every week, plant all those flowers. And I don't have time to come and pick up flowers when I get off work. I have grandkids, I'm tired. So I want to know, how did that contract change for me that I have to now come and pick up flowers, pay somebody to come and pick them up? And I just want our neighborhood to get back like it used to be and show concern. I do want to thank Miss Burke and Mr. Pate, because they did respond to my email. I saw their name. Keith has, even though me and him have had some issues, we have had some things done, and I'm going to be standing for my community.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Pollock. We'll follow up with you on those. Joanne Allen.
Joanne Allen, P.O. Box 284-27102. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me just start by saying that we filed, and when I say we, Action for Now Incorporated, we filed a complaint so that the City of Winston-Salem could be audited. We filed that with the state auditor, the former state auditor Beth Woods, as well as the state treasurer, Dale Falwell. Well, of course, we all know what happened to Ms. Beth Woods. She's no longer there, okay, because of illegal things that she did. Right now, Dale Falwell, the state treasurer, he's under investigation as well. So I guess what we have to do is refile so that the City of Winston-Salem can be audited going back a few years, because it's apparent that you all don't have a clue as to what is really going on. Some of you do, maybe, but most of you don't. What I would like to say most of all is this. It's important for you all to understand that you all sit here every month and you look at the people in the audience and you all do absolutely nothing. You just nod, you don't see anything, you don't interact, you don't say, oh, you know, let us do this or what have you. That's going to change because, first of all, that's not even being effective. That's not even being effective. You all don't even know how. You've been doing the same things forever and ever and ever. And when I say ever, I'm talking about decades, okay? So this is what we're looking at. Yes, we're refiling an audit for the City of Winston-Salem to be investigated with the new individuals as soon as they come on board, all right? Because we really need for the public to understand where our tax dollars are going and whose pockets they go in and the nonprofits that they go, with no way of measuring what's going on. So let me just make myself perfectly clear so that everyone up here understands what I'm saying. You all work for the public. And everybody who works in the city, they work for the public. So what I have to say is this. All the employees, the city employees, stop being scared. These people cannot tell you how to do your job. And when I say these, I'm talking about all of you up here. You all can't tell the people how to do their job, because this is why they're hired, to bring their expertise. That goes for the police department, that goes for the fire department, that goes for every department within the city system. Understand, we're coming, but we're coming correct. And if you all don't want to, guess what? That's okay too.
Thank you. Just for your information, the city's audited every year by an outside auditing firm. We've been doing it since the formation of the city, I believe. Pam Phillips.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Pamela Phillips, and I live in Providence Square, the same neighborhood that Doreen lives in. I just have a question. We've been trying to get it answered for at least the last 3 years. When I bought my home in Boston. Since then, I was told that I live in East Winston. and I want to know how they draw a line down the middle of Main Street within our development and tell me that all of my neighbors that live over there live in Boston, and just the houses on my side of the street are East Winston. That's a great concern for me. I was born in Winston-Salem, but I wasn't raised in Winston-Salem. So when, as an adult, I moved back here, I always wanted to live in Boston. That's where my family lived and was raised. So I bought a home in Boston just to be told that I now live in East Winston. Can somebody answer that question for me?
We'll be happy to. Mr. Murphy, could you follow up with her in terms of the nomenclature of the neighborhoods?
And the census.
Okay. And we'd also, the meeting that Doreen was talking about, Ms. Ray, I can't remember her last name, when she used to be over Neighbors for Better Neighborhoods, we always had meetings and we had support, and we've been trying to get somebody to come out and have a meeting with us. And so if that can happen, that would also make us happy.
We can certainly do that, and Mr. Murphy's going to get your contact information.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Matthew Mayers.
My name is Matthew Mayers. I live at 2844 Wesleyan Lane. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I also want to thank several of you for some support that the city government showed back in July. We launched the Solarize the Triad campaign. Mayor Joins, you had a video that you pre-recorded that was played at that launch event in July. MPT Adams was there in person and spoke very eloquently. Mr. Pate and Mr. Rao were there. Dr. Miller was there. It was a great event. Yeah.
It was big.
It was big. That's right. It was impressive, and you'll be happy to know that in under 2 months of the campaign, we are already at, pricing-wise, the prices have fallen all the way to tier 5 out of 8, so people are saving even more money on their solar panels, and the battery backup systems have fallen all the way to the lowest possible tier. In addition, the campaign has brought over $1 million of business into the area, most of it in Winston-Salem, not all of it. And so I want to just reiterate thanks to the city for support in that way. If you'd like to support in other ways, I have ideas. Some of them are expensive, some of them are inexpensive, and some of them are free. The second thing that I wanted to bring up tonight was something that I wrote you all an email about last month, but never got a chance to get up to the podium because it was a pretty exciting meeting last month. And that is the CPACE program. As you probably know, the North Carolina General Assembly recently passed enabling legislation for a CPACE program. Just briefly, I think you all know that what it does is it allows for commercial entities, including residential rental properties above 5 units, to get financing at favorable rates, at favorable terms, without any public funding. It does, however, require the cooperation of cities and counties, because the loan repayments go through the tax system. And that's why the rates are so favorable, because nobody wants to default on their taxes. Right now, the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina is designing the plan, and I know they would love your input, especially from the larger municipal areas. And in a few weeks, they're supposed to come out with a draft plan that I guess will be reviewed by the Department of Commerce. And the engagement of cities and counties is really crucial. So I hope you'll engage with them in that design. And then once the program is fully operational, I hope that the City of Winston-Salem and the County of Forsyth will cooperate to pass concurrent resolutions to enable this program to go forward. It allows for clean energy and efficiency loans to be made at favorable rates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayers. Arnita Miles.
She don't get up there.
Thank you for wearing your Rams t-shirt tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. I am a senior at the Winston-Salem State University, so that is why I'm wearing my red. First, I would like to say thank you. After my comments from last month, I know there was a lot of memes and different excitement about that statement. And I'm not going to apologize for that statement because I meant it. And I wish the brownies had stayed because I was a brownie at one time in my life. A brownie, a Girl Scout, yes ma'am. So I challenge you to think, imagine if you had to be graded by those young ladies that was in this room tonight. Imagine if they gave you a report card about your job as mayor, about your job as council member from the East Ward, from the North Ward, from the Northeast Ward, from the South Ward. Yes. As city manager, as city attorney, as assistant city attorneys. Imagine if those young girls had to give you a report card tonight and that would be what your job and performance was based upon. Some of you would get D's and F's. Some of you would get A's, because some of you are doing outstanding jobs. But let's talk about those D's and F's. Why was homelessness not on the 24-25 budget line item? Why was the BEAR program not included as a line item on the 2024-2025 budget? Why was there a homeless gentleman in the lobby of this building tonight seeking help after 5 o'clock? Y'all walked past him if you came in through the main lobby. He didn't get any help. Miss Miles, Dr. Miles, can you help me? Of course I can, and that's what we did. Why is there no affordable housing, especially low-income housing in Winston-Salem? Why? Ms. Burke, hold your head up. I'm not going to talk negatively about you today. You've been doing a good job. Be proud. Hold your head up. But I challenge you. Remember, if those little girls had to give you a grade based on your performance as elected officials, ask yourself honestly, what would you receive? Be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Cynthia Harrison.
Good evening, everybody. Cynthia Harrison from the Northeast Ward. I want to comment on the last meeting that we had, August the 19th. I want to clap back on that because I didn't get a chance to correct what was being said. I'm gonna start with you first, Monday, because you didn't like what they said about you. You didn't like being put into a category. You didn't like being singled out. And I, too, don't like being singled out. I'm trying to help you all not to be a hot-ass mess, as Dr. Miles said, because some of y'all are a hot-ass mess. I'm going to tell you one thing that I have done since I've been here in Winston-Salem. I recorded every doggone meeting, even the ones that I'm not at, with the Choice Initiative, House Initiative. Burks, you said that you all did have the demolition meeting. That was true. But what you failed to tell the folks was that that meeting got interrupted when Mike Bloom said that he did not have to hire anybody from Cleveland Home to be included in that project, which made my comrades and the people, the residents there, start talking about jobs and Section 3. You all bypassed us and we sat out there with our signs. And thank you, McIntosh, because you did come back. Don't know if you paid attention to our signs, but when I asked you, I said, McIntosh, can you help me make a change? You came back and you said, what can I do? I thank you for doing that. That's the second time that you have stood up for our community, even though you don't represent it. So again, I thank you. The rest of you all, I don't know what y'all gonna do, but I'm gonna tell you what I came here to do. I came here to do what the Lord instructed me to do, and that's to stand up for the people that do not know, the people that need to know, and without a teacher, how can they be taught? You all are not teaching us anything except for to be rebellious, to hate you. No, I ain't gonna say hate. But to put y'all in a category where we don't even trust y'all, we don't believe in y'all, and we don't think that you all are representing us in our community. I'm trying to work with you all, not against you all, but you all have to listen. Just like y'all said, clap back behind the comment period. I'm gonna need y'all to clap back every time we come up here and we have a question for you all. Whether it's email, why you gonna ask me my name, my address, if you ain't gonna come by and answer my questions or any other questions that are being addressed to you all? I'm gonna need y'all to stand up because, see, I got a grandkid right there, and I'm fighting for him so that he don't have to go through what we're going through. Affordable housing, y'all need to change that because you all finna renovate our units. We don't need no increase in rent. We need to do just like Annette Scipio said when she gave the go-ahead where she allowed them 30 years to not increase that rent. We need the same thing. I ain't got long, but you all need to consider what I'm saying, and you all need to come back and clap back and answer my question and email me and say, hey, let's have a meeting because we need to talk about this a little bit further. Thank you, and y'all have a good day.
Thank you. That's everyone who had signed up. We have about 3-4 minutes. Does anyone else want to be heard tonight? All right, see, Mr. Hassan. You state your name and address for the record, Mr. Hassan.
Ali Hassan. Almost living on the corner of Starvation Lane and Homeless Boulevard. Because I think you know my address is 5116 Britt Road. But my question tonight is for you, Mayor. Why won't you meet with someone other than this board to talk about my situation? And as far as your city attorney is concerned, she has misled this board, lied, and really, to be honest with you, all she needed to do was tie a red rag on her head and she'd be the best Aunt Jemima you ever seen in your life.
Mr. Hassan, I'm going to caution you.
I'm not going to sit here
But
and talk to her like that.
the facts still remain. People in this city are catching hell, black people. Even over there on Cleveland Avenue. They're not doing that project like it's supposed to be done. Leaving people out, leaving the people out that live there, not working there, not getting any job training, no resident-owned business or getting any help. It's all a big joke. It's a big joke to the people who have to live there and watch everybody else in the world make money but them, the people who actually supposed to be a target Section 3 residents. So it's a lot of things out of whack. But my question again remains with you, Mayor. You're supposed to run this city. Why won't you show your face? Why don't you make the city staff put the information out on the table so everybody can see it? And if I'm lying, then hey. But if I'm telling the truth, I want to see something done about it. I want to see you quit running. When we got other public officials that want to meet with you, but you can't show your face. You know why? Because you're sticking up for her. All of you know what I have said and how long I have said it. And it's going to come to a stop. It's going to come to a halt. Like that preacher told you last month. Going to bust hell wide open with all the lies and conniving that you are doing on this council.
Thank you. And it's the public comment period. We do have a need to go into closed session. Mayor Pro Tem, you have the motion?
Yes, I move that the city council go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A1 and 6 to review and discuss applicants for the position of city attorney and other personnel matters connected therewith, and to prevent the disclosure of information considered confidential pursuant to General Statute 160A-168.
Second?
They messing with me.
Second. Thank you. All in favor of the motion going in closed session pursuant to Mayor Pro Tem's motion, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, no. Councilmember, I suggest we go to the third floor to the Public Works Conference Room, and then we'll come back here to adjourn the meeting. We can go through the committee room if you want to, through the conference room if you'd like to.
I have a bag here. Thank you.
One more, all we need is one.
We have a motion to end the closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by McIntosh, second by Councilmember Taylor. All those in favor of ending the closed session, please say aye. Aye. We're out of closed session. Rebecca, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember McIntosh, second by Mayor Pro Tem Adams. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Why you done that?